the use case that I want to talk about here and demo a little bit is one that the idea is that I'm a marketer and I just had this brilliant idea. I want to run a contest where I just collect a little bit of information about people, but I ask them for their favorite story about the product or favorite use case. So I have a very simple field. I also happen to ask them familiarity with some other products while I'm at it. And what I have then is, of course, I have a flow that will go listen for those new submissions called the product story contest. And it's doing two things here. One, it's taking all of the entries and taking the stories, and it's creating a spreadsheet for those. So I've got their first name, their last name, their email address. Then over here, there's a couple of statuses that I want to keep track of. For example, where is my entry status? Because I'm going to end up using Google Sheets to manage my little campaign, if you will. Did I send a thank you email? What is their entry status? And did I email the finalists, or did I email them as a finalist? So I want to make sure that the finalist gets emailed no, and I'll show you how to do that on another flow so I don't have to disrupt this one. Then I've got another action that's taking the data about the product awareness that I asked, and it's putting it into a spreadsheet that is dedicated to grabbing that information. And then the last thing that it does here is that it's emailing those people and thanking them for their submission. So I showed that in another demo where I can add data from the form itself to include their email address and say, hi, first name, we received your entry, thank you very much. So when I then go hit submit here, my flow is waiting for, since this is still on, it was waiting for that information, and here it entered a new thing in here, a new entry. Both of them say finalist emailed no, entry status entered. So my next step of this flow is that I want to go and manage some stuff in the spreadsheet itself. So I've created a flow here that every 2 hours, it's going to go back out to my product story data, and it's looking for, so what I have here is called a filter. Filter is here, it's drag and drop it right in place, and it's going to say, I want to filter the incoming data, I don't need that one, and use the data from Google Sheets Action 1, which I could name something else if I wanted to. I could call this get data rows, just so that I remember what it is later. So now I'm filtering the data rows and I'm looking for entry status is, and then in this case I want finalist, and was this finalist emailed? No. So there are currently no finalists in my list here, but if I go in here and I say, well, I really liked this person's story and I want to write finalist. So now the data's changed. Now when my flow runs, it's going to see that somebody wasn't emailed and they were a finalist. And if it finds those people, when that returns data, I want to use the data from that filter called finalist to email that person and say, we're happy to announce you're a finalist. And then finally, when it does find those people in that category of finalists, I want it to change. So it's going to look for the ID of the entry, and I want to change the words to finalist emailed yes. So I want to make sure that this is on, and I'm going to run it now. You put it on a schedule, which will run it now also, but then it would be waiting every 2 hours. So when I do that, it says, don't forget to test. You should always test your flow because you're actually going to be doing things. And I'm going to go watch my data, which is going to say, thank you, email sent, looking for this finalist, and now it's changed that to yes. So that means that when this flow goes again in the next 2 hours, where it's set to run on a schedule, it won't find that person because it says finalist yes, and it won't email them again.